We're here. We're here. Get this done. Let's get this done. How are you feeling? Chinese national. What's up?
Brandon hates when I wear my hair like this.
And we're live. You
And
know
we're
what I mean?
live.
Ready
We're
to go.
live. Yeah, we
Where
are.
are we on right now? Can you tell me or no?
Today we're talking about pop culture and the conspiracy within pop culture.
Are we on Two Scoops podcast with Brandon and Alexis?
We are on the Two Scoops podcast with Brandon and Alexis.
First and foremost, this is episode 8. It is our last episode of the season. Alexis does have her laptop out today because we were unprepared. You know what
No,
I
we're
mean?
not unprepared.
You know
It's
what I mean?
just, iCloud and Apple Notes just doesn't want to coincide with me today.
Another week, another nonsense, and we're ready to go, ready to
Yeah.
roll. And we're here. What is it? Pop culture and what?
The conspiracy
That's,
within pop culture.
that's my Jen's like forte right there.
What
right?
does mean?
Like, that's what we do. Like, that's what I spent half of my early 20s doing, was just researching conspiracy and life. It was no Diddy before no Diddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was Sway out here. We knew what it was before it started, Everyone talked about it now, and that was old news. So we're here to go. Look, another week, another audience. Look, we have some support, don't we, huh?
We love our supporters. They're all here for us today. We love them.
Big shout out to Q29 out here in Hyde Park, New York. Is it 4321 out here giving us everything that we need. Big production companies. Love you guys. Love you, Sean. Love you, Bryce. You guys are fucking absolutely amazing. This is honestly has been like a
dream. It's so fun. Yeah. We're having so much fun.
How does it feel being like 22, about to close your own production? You are a producer at this point right now. You're producing your own show. You know what I mean? You have to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? That is to an extent. You know what I mean? Wrote the script, wrote the show, wrote the outline, right? Help of friends or not. Listen, there's nobody in life who has gotten anywhere without the help of others.
Yeah,
so
I
you have
that.
to acknowledge that. You
can't become successful, I think, just on your own. I think that you need the help of other people that care about you to, move on to that.
Absolutely. And it's why we have our friends and family here in the crowd again. You know what I mean?
We're rocking and rolling in this
I'm going to need
studio
Marlene
today.
and Amber to keep their questions to a minimum today. You know what I mean? And we would love that. Everybody else, feel free to engage.
As Marlene sips her champagne because she's like, I'm gonna get up to the mic anyways.
I'm not gonna lie, we're popping off on pop culture right now and conspiracy and whatnot, but I can't get over the fact that we closed the show so early. First and foremost, you have never closed the show that early before, ever.
I don't think we closed the show early. We had been talking for a long, long time, and then
for like an hour, maybe.
Nobody wants to hear us talk for more than an hour, Brandon. And I'm sorry, I hate to break that to you, but
maybe more men need the jaded view of a guy like me. You know what I mean? Maybe
I don't think that the world needs that.
I'm
sorry.
You never know. Maybe so. Maybe not. I mean, hey, and we'll go from there. But for the most part, we're going into this pop culture and conspiracy thing, right? But I'm still caught up on the relationships to an extent. So like to play off the pop culture and the high kind of like relationship segment that we're on, segue into the next, it's like this whole Leo thing, like Leonardo DiCaprio, like the DiCaprio era. Like, why is it that it's like, I feel like right now, right? Like in this time, we're in 2024, you know what I mean? We're out here living life, like April, May, like we're in it, we're producing whatnot, right? 4 or 5 months into the year. And it just seems like everyone's either single or dating up or dating older. Like everyone's kind of pulling
Leo doesn't date anybody
Leo.
that's under like 25 years old. Okay, once they hit 28, Leo's like, cut that. Leo's like, I don't want anybody that's even remotely close to the age of 30. So what's with
the stigma? Like, what's with the stigma with dating older than 28?
Because young girls are cute.
That's what you think? You think it's just all looks? You think it's just all looks and appearance?
It's not all looks. I think it's also just like a fresh mindset. I think that a lot of it has to do with, mindset.
That sounds like grooming behavior to me.
No.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds
Okay,
like
but
somebody
that,
that's
you
trying to,
know,
like,
like you can't even disagree with, like you can't judge age gap because, sorry, but are you Leonardo DiCaprio? You're not.
But that see that's
You're
the
not
point.
even remotely close. Sorry.
Hey,
just hate to break.
You
the
never
truth.
know. Give me a 10 and I might be George Clooney. You know what I mean? Like I might not be Leo, but I could be close
here's
to
my
George
thing
Clooney.
is that when you're a celebrity, I think you can get away with like, and this sounds really messed up in perspective, but I think that when you're a celebrity, you can get away with like.
Why? Yo, no, pause, because Sonny and Cher wasn't acceptable, but America.
Why was
accepted it.
Sonny and Cher not acceptable?
There's everyone look it up. Sonny and Cher was not acceptable, but that was predominantly produced all throughout America and all throughout the world. Like it was okay. He was a 27-year-old man with like a 16, 17-year-old woman or whatever you want to call her at that age. You know what I mean? And he was touring with her, making music with her and dating her simultaneously at the same time. So if you want to talk about where it all started, you know what I mean? Let's talk about age gaps in pop culture, right? Like, let's talk about age gaps in that whole socialite sense of like, why is it okay for celebrities like Travis Scott, who are like 27, 26 years old, to be having kids with somebody who's like 20? Do you know what I mean? To what point is love? You know,
I don't know.
I really want to know that.
I think
to an
that, you know,
extent.
it's different. I don't know. The way that I've always viewed celebrities is that it's like they live a different life than we do. So like they
does that
think of
make
a
it
lot
acceptable?
of things differently than we do. I don't think it makes it like okay, but I think that it gives a little bit of a different like insight to it. You
But
know,
that
I don't know.
kinda
Because if you think about it, you can't say that you've had like the same experiences as Travis Scott. So it's like you're not meeting
Maybe.
people. No, you haven't.
Maybe I lived with Travis Scott, but like in a
No, you
microcosm.
didn't. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay,
You know
but
what
like,
I mean?
have you met anybody like Kylie Jenner where you're like, oh, like I'm gonna like?
Maybe I met people that look better than Kylie Jenner. Honestly,
No,
Let's
you
be
haven't.
honest. Yeah, let's be.
We
real.
live in upstate New York.
She's
like that's not
100%.
realistic.
And upstate New York, let's not mind you, people. Before she goes out here trying to slay my region that I grew up in, right?
He says
It's
my
the mo-
region as
like,
if I didn't live here and grow up here
one
for
of the
my
most
entire life as well.
It's one of the most affluent regions in the country. All right, it's one of the most profitable in the state. Right, like outside of Westchester, Dutchess County is where they all reside. People start their families here. They start their business here. They start their fortune here. It's huge in trade. It's huge in a lot of commerce. And before we just go out here and dismiss it to some Hollywood so-so because she has the say and the ability to cut herself up, you know, and look best, does not mean that like there are not people out here who are comparable or equitable to a Kylie Jenner. There are many. I would like you all women to know that there are a lot of women out here who are better and or more gifted than Kylie Jenner. So I mean, let's not dismiss that. And I know you like to think
Okay,
that
but-
I'm like the capital A of assholes, but like no,
But like,
that's not a thing.
but I don't know. Okay, whatever.
That's not a thing.
I
You know,
don't.
we
I
can
don't
get it-
think that. But whatever.
So what's too old is too old. What's
What
too
do you
old
mean?
for you?
Too old for me?
Yeah, maybe I want your Snapchat. What's up?
No, you ain't getting my
You know what I
Snapchat.
mean? Like-
You're not getting that.
No.
Too old for me is probably like 10 years older. So
10?
32.
A decade?
Yeah.
A decade is hitting it.
Why?
A decade is hitting it. That's a decade is hitting it. Like, if you're talking about a decade, you're talking about like twice removed. Like, that's someone twice removed from your life. Whoa, pause. Maybe I didn't want this. Maybe I didn't want this on the relationship episode. That God is on the or on the pop culture episode. But like, a decade? A decade's okay. Because listen, I've had a friend of yours.
You're going to say that you haven't, it's been a decade for you as well? You've
No, I've gone up and down.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I've had a friend of yours tell me that if their relationship didn't work out today, that they would only go after a sugar daddy. I'm not going to say any names or who else said that to me, but like, it was, I don't want Marlene's plan on this situation. We went over this already. But
I mean, here's the thing though.
people
You
tell me.
have to think about it. Not many people think that way.
Do you see? That's the thing, though. Like, all right, so like,
No, but that's the issue with you and me is that you believe that because like of my generation, you think that
because
every
I know
single
from experience.
No, but you think that every single person in our generation feels that way. And
Yo,
that's not how
I'm
it
telling
is.
you from experience. Be light skinned in my age and find out.
All right.
You know
Well,
what I mean? As simple as that. Like, let me like find out. Like, it's that simple. Like, I'm not trying to make it like that, but it really is. You know,
It's-
sometimes in
no.
life, things are that simple. It comes down to the mundane. And like, people just want something that's slightly different. Like, you're allowed in the house, but maybe you go back out. You know what I mean? Like, you're not here all of the time. You know, I don't have to see you all of the time. You know what I mean? This is a pick and choose kind of scenario. But it does happen. Like, it does happen a lot of the times. I know this show's about to is supposed to be on pop culture and conspiracy. I feel jaded though. Like, you just
Why?
like, because you cut off relationships so fast.
I didn't
Like,
cut it off, but I think
we
that
weren't ready to like.
yeah, but it is a good segue into this
you've
episode.
never called off a show ever. 7 shows in. We're on our 8th. You've never once been like,
Sorry that I cut off the show. Sorry that I
Cut
was
it off.
making an end cut. I don't know why you're so offended by that, but
slightly.
You're not- yeah,
It's supposed to be
exactly.
my job.
no, this is a collaborative effort, Brandon.
This
like,
is my job. This is my title. You know
no.
what I mean?
But I think it was a good segue. I mean, talking about Leo only, like I said, Leo only dates girls that are like, once they're 28.
Is he wrong for
that's
that?
it.
How do you feel about that? Is he wrong for that?
I think the only reason that he thinks that he can do that is because he is Leo DiCaprio.
You think that's the only reason why? It's because he's.
I mean, I don't know. I think that income and status has a lot to do with it. Do you not?
Maybe.
What do you mean? It's not a maybe. It's a yes or no.
Like, you know, maybe he's not finding the person that like aligns with his interests, or maybe he doesn't want to take on somebody else's.
But who has the same interests as Leo
problemos.
DiCaprio? Like, not many people, probably. You can't align into that group.
Who's to say though? Like, we're all living a life. Like, as far as I know it, this is the first life you've lived. This is the first life I've lived. This is the first life everybody in the audience has lived. So who are we to say that they're like making these decisions as if like, yeah, man, like they're just living their life and experiencing it as it comes to them, right? No, like regardless if we're witnessing or not, or it happens to be some level of hypervigilance, whether like, oh man, Leonardo DiCaprio is dating this 20-year-old girl, you know, at 40, whatever. How old is he? Do you even know how old he's?
No.
I couldn't
I
even
think
tell
he's
you.
like
Exactly.
in his like
Infinite,
late 40s.
88.
He's
know what I
not
mean?
88 years
You
old,
know,
but
you know, a god amongst men. But either way, you know, like, who's like, what are we to say? At what point is love? You said a decade.
yeah,
A decade is like, yeah, a decade. Well, how old are you?
22.
You're
about
not
to
dating.
be 23.
You're not about to date a man who's 32 years old.
Why?
There's no way you would date a man that's 32 years old.
You don't know that.
You're way too insecure to talk to a man who's 32 years
If you're
old.
going to sit here and talk about my insecurities, then we'll bring up yours, okay? And I'm sure, you know, like it could honestly tie into pop culture because I feel that a lot of people in our day and age have insecurities and that's why they rely on, you know, pop culture and the
okay.
entertainment within it.
I like that. We do have to play into that as well as pop culture. It seems like we have a question in the audience about
Oh, we have a
this
question
right
from the
now. Yeah.
audience?
Yeah, we do have a question from the audience. It's rocking right now.
Yeah, Saber Jane? Get back into the mic. I can't really hear you. Put your face into it.
Who had a baby at 78? Robert De Niro had a baby at 78?
I don't think that mic is on, but yeah, I don't.
Robert De Niro had a baby at 78. Did you know that?
There's no.
Who's his wife? Wait.
Wait,
Who's her
I'm
wife?
actually gonna look that up.
Wait. Okay. Cool. Question. Sorry. I know the sidetrack everyone, but like Robert De Niro had a baby at 78 or in his 70s. Let's say 70s. How old was his wife? I think 40. Yeah. No, this is huge.
Someone older or
No,
like
this is huge though.
procreating.
He procreated.
That's not dating.
And the fact of like, if you walked into a bar and you saw some guy 78 holding his 3-month-old infant with his 45-year-old wife, you'd immediately be judging.
Wait. I'm sorry. So I'm a logistical person.
But everyone's
I'm a
not
person
like it's
based.
okay,
I'm a
Avery.
person based off of logic, right? So he was 78 years old. He was
See,
78.
that's crazy. Could you imagine having a child at 78 years old?
How old was his
that's
wife?
what
I need to know how old his wife was.
We're
This
gonna
a
look up
Woody
this
Allen
stat.
situation? I need to know.
Okay. Oh, it does say from an article here, Robert De Niro just fathered a baby at 79 years old.
How old is his wife? I need to
She's
know
in
this.
her 40s.
How much? How old? First of all, but sadly, my first concern is why is she having a child at 44? My second concern.
Hello. Robert De Niro is the daddy. That's like,
is the
that's
daddy.
like, you know, that's like.
Oh wait. We have the person.
Because Robert De Niro could afford it. Because he.
Her
could
name
afford
is Tiffany Chen.
it. I don't want to hear. Is she Asian?
Why does that matter?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know. Maybe the whole Robert De Niro with an Asian woman kind of skeeves me out a little bit, but.
It says that he apparently has 6 other children, and
He has 6?
he has 7 now that he just had a child.
How old was the woman that he bare a child with latest?
Brennan, this is what I mean, though.
44?
First of all, I don't know why it matters. Second of all, I don't
It
know
does matter
why
'cause
you
we're
have
talking
such
about
an
age
opinion on
gap
it.
in
Because
pop culture.
okay, but this is the thing: celebrities can do whatever the hell they want
Why?
because they have a social status, Brandon.
Okay, so you're agreeing to me. We have a question, but you're telling me. So before we ask this question, you're telling me that in pop culture, right? Celebrity status matters over what is morally. Because to you, as a 22-year-old woman in your demographic, right? You're telling me that 10 years is like the threshold, right?
Yeah,
You're
why
saying
should it-
10 years. So
It
so
shouldn't be anything above that,
Okay,
sorry.
so from a common individual perspective, 10 years is like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, maybe. Like, maybe I got to go that high. But you're saying that, like, from a celebrity threshold, it's more acceptable. Like,
I don't know. I don't think that it's more acceptable from a celebrity threshold. I just think that when it comes to celebrities, people in our society are more used to them just doing like outlandish shit.
all right.
They're like, you know what I mean?
And question from the audience after outlandish shit.
Okay.
Why do you think that is the way? I know we have NDAs and there's a social status and they make more money, but with all the things going on with the sex trafficking and all that, then we automatically get outraged. Now we have a moral ground and we all post on social media, oh, like cancel so-and-so. So then we crucify the celebrities when they do something that's wrong and heinous, like other people.
Cancel culture, right?
Well, here's the thing. Cancel culture is a whole different aspect in itself.
But why?
But why? I don't know. I think that when it comes to cancel culture, obviously when you're with your friends, there's probably a lot of things that I know, at least I would say that when I'm around my friends, I would get canceled. But when you're a celebrity in the bright light, like you have to know you have to be aware of it. Like they all get PR trained. They're all, you know what I mean?
But they can still do whatever they want, though.
I don't know if they can necessarily do whatever they want, but I think that they have a lot more leeway and a longer leash than we would as normal people. You know what I mean? Because they have a status and they have a name, so they know that like they're secure in that, like that they have money behind their name. Do you know what I mean? It's like stuff like that.
I think it kind of goes hand in hand with like Hollyweird.
Yeah.
You talked about Woody Allen. There's examples of Dave Chappelle walking away from 50
Enough
million.
said.
Yeah.
You know
Enough
what
said,
I mean?
right?
We're talking about Jeffrey Epstein and like Epstein Island.
I don't want to talk about
You
this.
know, Bill Clinton on the island, Prince Edward on the
On
island.
the island.
Gates
Yeah,
on the island, all these
yeah.
people.
The island.
They're all like shaking hands with each other and all. So it's like, for Hollywood, maybe there isn't an age gap. Maybe there's an agenda.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I do agree with that. There is a lot of belief out there that thinks that Hollywood was designed. The whole American culture of propaganda and selling image and selling movies was a whole. It's like Bollywood, Hollywood, right? Like, there's a reason why the certain region of the world imitates it, right? Because what allows.
What do you mean imitates it?
Like Bollywood in the sense of India, right? Like Bollywood is
Yeah.
huge. A lot of Bollywood stars, or even, I know this is like going off topic, Indian cricket stars are just as big as soccer stars or
I
American.
disagree.
They
See,
are.
but I
though.
would
They-
disagree with
you're
that
disagreeing-
100%.
You're disagreeing off the sense
You're
of
gonna
like,
say that a
we're different-
Bollywood star is like the equivalent of like somebody
There
like
are
Kim
people,
Kardashian?
yeah,
no
but there
shot.
are people out
Yes, in
there who
India,
make it.
yes, 100%.
Yeah,
Why,
yeah,
India has a
why,
popu-
and why would you say that? This is actually
India has a
interesting to come
population of
from.
1.3 like billion people.
Yeah,
That's
it's
3 to 4 times the size of the United States. So it's
Yes.
a giant, massive, bigger market.
huge population of people.
Sorry, Lex.
It's like, thank you for that. Honestly, thank you. I mean, I appreciate that wholeheartedly. There is just a lot of people. It's a lot of influence. It's just a lot of ways to incorporate what we've already kind of given them the platform for.
Yeah.
So like in America, we perfected it.
Yeah.
We perfected it, even down to the reality TV, even down to what we're doing here, you know what I mean? In the sense of like social media, it's like an art. It's gone down to the form of like, unless you're able to articulate yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In front of a camera, unless you are able to come up with some kind of like,
script.
Yeah, script or credence of like who you are as a person and sit
Yeah.
down and talk to people, you have no say.
Yeah.
And sadly so. And I want to say that, like, sadly so.
Oh, so
like,
you have a say because you've
like,
been on
like,
reality
like-
TV,
like,
so
no,
you have a say?
I do like
Brandon has
the
had a few experiences with reality
a
TV.
experience with reality TV. I did have
Well,
experience.
but I would like you to touch on
Reality.
that, Brandon.
I did have a experience in reality television. It was nice though. I appreciated it for what it was. Like, to me, the most that I got from that experience of like being on VH1 or being on an episode of something, right? Like a
Yeah.
reality TV, to me was the production. It's what we're doing here. It was like essentially giving more affirmation to and credit to the individuals that it takes to create that show, because the talent was the talent. And at the extent, like, I would hear producers screaming at the talent for content, like having to cut
But that's
shows,
what- but
like
that's-
having to cut shows for content. And it's weird. It's weird being in an environment where you're like, there's a dozen people around you. There's a guy holding a microphone. There's a guy holding a camera. You know what I mean? And you think that every camera is like it's standing in a corner. It's just like somehow just, no, there's a person behind that picture. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, there's a person behind that. So it's kind of like obscure to be in that kind of environment and then hear someone say cut.
Yeah,
It-
I don't know.
it-
I
it's
don't.
like,
I don't.
it's
I
like-
think that I love reality TV. I love watching reality TV. But I think that if I were to actually see it in person, it wouldn't be as much of an appeal. And I think that's just because it's like it seems fake. It seems
seemed more
forced.
like, it was more of an appeal to me because in my situation, it was about like all individuals who were famous off of social media and reality.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool in the sense of like,
Well, but I mean, that's
was-
a whole different aspect of fame. I think that,
Yes.
there's people like Taylor Swift and like Drake and Kanye West who are people that are like famous
Megastars.
Exactly. But then there's people who are on, reality TV shows that are just famous from being on that reality TV show. Like Bravo in itself is literally an entire network just
I couldn't tell you anyone on Bravo.
I mean, I could, but I mean, it's literally just a network based like for people that are just like normal people like you and I, and then
Okay.
they get an opportunity to be on reality TV and then become stars.
I guess in that sense, but
But I also do think that like when I make that comment, like it does take a certain personality to make it on reality television.
not everyone can stand in front of camera.
Yeah, 100%.
period. You know what I mean? Not everyone can even have a conversation in front of camera.
Yeah, it's
so,
scary.
Yeah, to a certain extent. It seems like we do have a question pertaining to the segment. So
we do.
I would like to entertain
How
that.
much of like reality TV do you actually think is true when it's happening? How many relationships on reality TV do you think is actually genuine and true?
Yeah. So I mean, you can answer that first if you
From
want.
me, just from my witness, none of it.
See, now I would disagree with that because, obviously I don't think that Brandon actually watches enough reality TV to be able to give a like consensus on that. However, I think that, when you look at a show like The Kardashians, obviously that 90% of the stuff on there is not really true. But like when you watch a show like Vanderpump Rules, like that's true because like they're working in a restaurant. It's their life. They're working in a restaurant and it's how like they're going about their daily life. I think that that's a lot more realistic than like somebody who's just
Maybe. But you
What do you mean maybe, though?
We're on cameras, we're on lights all of the time.
No, we're not on camera and lights all the time. It's once a week.
Once a week is all the time. That's more than the casual individual. You know what I mean? That's all of the time. So this is more exhausting than anything in my life.
But why is this exhausting to you? Because do you
It
feel
takes
like
a certain amount of energy. It takes a certain amount.
okay,
of,
but do you
like,
think that
I don't know how to
feel
explain
that
it.
you have
Like,
to
it
put on a
takes
character for
No,
that?
I've never once put on a character in my life other
Well,
than
do
the
you
one
think
that
that-
I want you to perceive.
Well, do you
But,
think
like,
that? But okay, so then to go. But to go off from that, do
I'm
you
skilled
think
at
that,
this.
Yeah, but do you think that a lot of celebrities play a character to play into their
Of course, but
their
I think
fans
I
and
think
their
a lot of
clientele?
them are not as good as me. Like I think
Okay.
a lot of them
no,
don't do
Brandon,
their job
like you're
as
not
good
gonna
as
sit
I
here and
do.
compare yourself to
Yeah,
somebody like
I
like
believe in that. I wholeheartedly believe that. I look in the audience and I say that a lot of them don't know how to put on character. I watch them on camera and I'm like, yo, this isn't authentic. This isn't a real person. Like, what are they doing? They don't know how to live life because they've never actually truly lived life. You know what I mean?
Oh,
For my-
I see that we have another comment from the audience.
Marlene.
My mother, Marlene.
The one and only.
We're talking a lot about Hollywood, which there's a lot that happens in Hollywood, whether it's scripted or not. But if you were to talk
is
about
scripted.
conspiracy, let's go to another place. So the Academy Awards, the Grammys,
I love this. I love that you're bringing this up, Mar, because this was actually
Stay on task. How about you?
a
do
topic that we had addressed in our notes here, and we were talking about the backlash that comes from award shows, because when you think about the Grammys and a lot of things like that, there is a lot of backlash that comes from it because a lot of people believe that it's rigged.
that? And
it's rigged.
okay.
See, Marlene
So we
believes
hear-
that
we
it's
hear
rigged
it,
too,
we hear
and we're
it.
getting that from an older generation over here.
So we're hearing from two different demographics that it's rigged.
Yeah.
Three different demographics from that it's rigged.
Yeah.
So I would like to go into the Grand Awakening. You know what I mean? And my point is, like, more so now than ever in life, people are starting to be aware of the fact that this is all a facade, right? Like, this is all a facade. Like, what we're doing right here is a facade, right? Like, to
See,
an
but I don't
extent.
think that this is a facade, because this is who I am as a person.
Yeah, well, God bless you have me on the other side. How about that?
God
Cheers
bless.
to-
Cheers to
You know
that.
what I mean, cheers to that. You have someone to keep you authentic. You know what I mean? But that's not every
Keep me
day.
authentic as
You
if
know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
my own
Like,
person all the time.
Maybe if you're Alexis, Jane, Avery, Livy, Sophie, Chef, fucking Brenny, you know what I mean? Like, maybe if you are the bulb that you are right now, like, yeah, maybe. Sorry to everyone that I out there,
But I
through
mean,
their
like
government,
going
but-
off from that, since you just went on a tangent about that, I think to answer like my mom's question, there is a huge conversation that comes behind award shows. You know what I mean?
think there's something behind it other than like.
Well,
to
I
me,
mean,
it's
you
just all
look
propaganda.
at exactly, but you look at certain things. It's like Taylor Swift winning album of the year. Like obviously,
Hell yeah.
she was going to win album of the year because she's been in the news almost every single day of 2023 and,
who
2024.
boosted our economy right after COVID? You know what I mean? Other than the one and only Swiftie,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
That was all over the news. Like, how much
But it's
did
also-
Taylor
it's like-
Swift boost our economy? How much did Taylor Swift boost Brazil's economy? And look,
Okay,
I
but
love
but
it.
that's
I
not
love
what
it.
but that's not my only point that I had to make. It's not, like
Okay,
you look at
sorry.
it like if you look at other award shows, like ones for TV shows. I don't know what the one is for TV shows.
It's
the
Grammys
Emmys
or Oscars?
No, the
Oscars
Emmys. The Emmys are TV
Emmys.
shows,
Emmys are
right?
TV shows,
The
right.
Emmys are okay. So when you like one of my favorite shows ever is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They've never won an award for their show
Look at
because
them.
they're so controversial.
Just look at them.
What do you mean?
Just look at them. Just all it takes is one look at them to see, like, okay.
Okay, but then we have
Great.
shows like
You know
what,
what I
like
mean?
Grey's
Like-
Anatomy, like winning awards on end. Like, who cares about that?
Like, I won't have you throwing slander on Grey's Anatomy, all right? Grey's Anatomy is like the modern days, like days of our children, you know what I mean? Days of our lives. Like, I'm not going to allow
Okay,
you coming after
but
Grey's
but
Anatomy.
you would agree with my statement and like what my mom said about there being a backlash of it and a controversy. I mean, like you see it all the time. Like there's so many artists that are way more deserving of a lot of these awards, and instead they give it to the mainstream people and the people that are consistently getting awards. And I think, I don't know what the reason is behind that, but I think a lot of it is, just to like keep their name in the game.
Yeah, and a lot of, for whatever reason, this conversation makes me think about the whole armory of the, like, Rust. What was it? Rust, I believe it was. Like, the whole movie where the woman, the director / like cinematographer died on set because, God bless. Like,
When
God
did that
bless,
happen?
God bless. It happened, like, I believe it was Alec Baldwin. I am going off the top right here.
With the guy,
I
because
believe
he
it was
shot,
Alec
he
Baldwin,
accidentally
yeah,
shot
yeah.
somebody with a
And, like,
fake gun on set. Yeah.
with a fake gun on set. And the armorer the armorer just went to prison for that. She's going to jail for that right now.
See, but that's
Or, like,
bullshit.
currently
Like,
going,
she should
like-
not be going to jail for that because that's not
So
fair.
so how much of that was to keep his name out of
no,
the
but-
set,
but
out
that's
of like
what I mean, is
criminal
that
intention.
okay,
like,
but that's
so
what-
someone has to take the fall.
Yeah, but that's
it's
what
like
I'm,
when
you're
Biggie
missing.
got.
But that goes back to my original point, where it's like these celebrities have, because they have this name, they're like they have a little bit more of a leeway, and it's not fair, but that's how life is.
So if I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm
You're
doing
not
the
Leo
same thing, you know
Caprio,
what I mean?
but all right.
No, I'm just saying.
I have a question.
yeah, let me hear it.
For the awards and everything, because some people won't show up and perform in an award unless they win one. So that's why we're all, aware of things, because it's being exposed, because the celebrities themselves bicker and the artists like expose it themselves. But do you feel like these artists are now assets to like the labels and the corporations more so?
100%. I think that the label that Taylor Swift is signed to, she is an asset to that label.
I look at it
like the
opposite.
amount of
So she
money
can't
that
fail.
she has brought to that label this year is like astronomical. Like no artist has done that.
So what would happen if she failed?
I
She
think
can't
that
fail.
it would be
Exactly.
yeah. I don't
What are
know
you
if
willing
she,
to do
if they'll let her fail.
to
I don't
make
think
sure
she
she
has
doesn't
the
fail?
opportunity to do that.
No, absolutely not. She doesn't get that same opportunity to fail that everybody else
Yeah.
does. They're gonna promote her to the death. They're gonna do.
Does that
everything they
supersede
want.
government and laws?
Absolutely, because it's propaganda. It's over the mind over government.
Yeah.
You know, what
but
I
I
mean,
mean, like
I
this,
believe in that. It's mind over government. If I control their mind, I control their government. If I control their mind, I control their economy.
Well-
I control what they buy. I control what they do. I control what they see and what they say on their
and this
their
is
daily lives.
this is something
So-
interesting that I like that you brought this up and that this is bringing up the conversation, because Brandon had sent me an Instagram reel today of a podcast between, I don't remember who it was, but it was Candace Owens and somebody else, and they were talking
It was
about
Cat Williams.
and Cat Williams. They were talking about how the Pentagon has, what was it again? They like have a certain
was proven-
share
it was
like within
proven-
within film, which
It
is
was proven
so
that the
weird.
CIA has a direct correlation with Hollywood.
Which is
That
so,
essentially
isn't that scary to
there's
think
a-
about?
There's a direct
So scary to
correlation.
think about.
It's a direct correlation between what's produced in American Hollywood and what we consume and what the CIA and the government is allowed to supersede. So the next question.
Do you think this plays? I mean, this is kind of like a heavy thing, but like there has been a lot, I feel like, in the recent media with human trafficking relating to Hollywood. Like Hollywood stars, I don't remember what the name of their church is.
Scientology. It's
Don't
a
say
Scientology.
don't
Like,
do that.
do you
Don't start
think-
saying names before you know, please.
I'm just talking about Scientology.
For the show. Don't do that. Don't do that. We don't know. Finish your thought, please.
I just mean like in the sense of like with everything going on and like movies produced and like I just feel like there's been a lot of like, now that COVID's over and there's been a lot of people going back to the movies, there's been very much like this divide and like agreeance of like movies being good anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Just based on like the way they see things.
I'm not trying to cut you guys off. I mean, this podcast has been very positive for the most part, and I'm not trying to be super confrontational or contentual. We will get into that into our future seasons. Like, hopefully everybody loves this and they want to get into it in the future and they want to talk to us about it. But in the sense, like, no, I don't think that it's a coincidence that they dropped the Epstein list and then they dropped the Diddy and they dropped the, what I mean?
No, but
It's
that's
all, or the
it's-
Cat Williams. Like,
but that's
it's
the thing
obvious,
with
like,
there's always an agenda behind
Yes.
Hollywood, and I think
Yes.
that goes into like answering her question, is that it's like when you come out of we just came out of this pandemic, and now everybody, when these movies are coming out, they're like, before it's even released and anybody's seen it, they're like, oh, it's amazing, it's incredible, and
or
it's
Don't
like,
Look Up, or what was the
Yeah,
other one?
or
What was
like the
other
Barbie
one?
movie and all that
Or what
stuff.
was the one that Obama produced?
I have no idea.
Someone knows it in the crowd. There's
Anybody know the movie that
something
Obama produced?
Obama and his wife. It was after Don't Look Up and Leo, and all of them. It was like, don't let it. No one in the crowd knows. Like, this most recent movie that just came out. There's something above, or there's something coming, or damn, I wish I did. See, do better research before you hop on a podcast. But at the end of the day, I do think that there is agenda. It's not coincidental. Like, I don't think that it's a circumstance that, like,
yeah, but that's
start
what I'm
of the
saying is
year-
that I think that, you know, in the recent years, I think that with a lot of things that have been coming out, it's like everybody just kind of expects it to be good. It's like the same thing with like even music and movies, like she said. It's like when they released Barbie and Oppenheimer this summer, it's like everybody expected that it was going to be at
Yeah,
a
but-
certain
but to
level
her-
to where you're
but
going
to
to
her-
watch
but
it
to
and you
her-
want to give it.
But to
like
her
a,
point of like dismissing
chance.
the thing that's critical.
What do you
like,
mean?
What Avery's trying to say is like there's things that are being brought up in pop culture that are critical that people are just dismissing.
Yeah, but
You know,
that's
it's
been
the
around
fact-
for years.
Yeah, no,
People
not
have been
necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, to an extent.
Brandon, no, yes,
to
it
an
has.
extent,
Because
but,
people
like,
have been
the fact-
dismissing like
but
actual
how-
important
but how-
topics within
but how
Hollywood for
frequent?
years.
Yes, but how frequent? Like,
Look at Sharon Tate and like all that, like way back when.
Yeah, we're going into May. We're going into May, right? And in what, like the 4th, 5th month of the year, we've already hit the Epstein list. We've already hit the Diddy scandal, and we've already hit the Nickelodeon documentary, right? Like three things that they've hit us with in such a, like realistically in such a short amount of time, right? Like.
But that's how Hollywood works. That's how
but
society gets around. No, but that's how it goes.
Okay,
yes,
okay, I
it
hear
is.
you. I agree with you, but it's never been that frequent.
But
right?
like, I
it's-
disagree with you
it's been,
100% because
okay.
if you had been more, okay, you've even said this on our past episode where we were talking about social media and how there was a point where you know, disengaged from all that. That stuff was still going on, whether or not you were aware of it. Those things
Sonny
were
and Cher, Woody Allen, I get it. Like, yeah.
But
that's
those
what's going
things
on.
were still prevalent. You know what I mean? Yes, Marlene. We have another question from the audience.
Well, yes, because some of what you're talking about, like you're referencing it all to Hollywood, and I know a lot of the information that comes out of Hollywood in terms of its vehicle, but there's other platforms now to bring this out.
But that's the new Hollywood.
Yeah, see that's where I
That's
think
the
that
new
you
Hollywood,
don't
you know?
like it's like even all these people that are like influencers on TikTok and stuff, they are the new Hollywood.
We
like,
are the
they're-
new Hollywood.
They're getting all these deals that like, you know, celebrities, like traditional celebrities way
Would
back in the
get.
day would get. But now they're getting it because they're new and they're more I think that they're more approachable to us too.
Which kind
'cause
of
it's
gets
like
me
through
into
TikTok.
like I love that question too because a lot of the time the scope is changing. You know what I mean? The range is changing. Not everyone who is famous is an actor. Not everyone who is famous is a celebrity. You know what I mean? In the sense of like you have the guy
Okay,
who
no,
just
I
makes
disagree
just
with that. I think that every person that is famous is a celebrity.
Okay. Yes. I'm thinking about like
You're
about
talking
the
about-
Americana,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Americana view of celebrity. You know what I mean? You being an A-lister everywhere.
But
you
that's what
go,
I'm saying. It's
you
like
get
when
bussed
you-
around, you get chauffeured around. You know what I mean?
But that's
You're
what
a
I'm saying.
celebrity.
It's like when you think about it, like what makes you an A-lister in this community
Okay,
nowadays?
so question: what makes us an A-lister in community nowadays? We do have a question. I do hear you, Alexis. What makes us an A-lister in today's society?
I want to go back to the influencers for a second.
Yeah,
influencers.
yeah.
Our influencers, I think, are celebrities.
I agree.
I'm obsessed
Yes.
with many of them.
They are.
Me as well.
They are.
Are they talented?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No, they're not. And see, this is where I would disagree with Brandon because Brandon, I don't think fully understands the concept of what influencers are. Like, if I told him what Alex Earl does,
Who is that?
he would have literally no freaking idea. Exactly. Who's Alex Earl? He has
Who's
no
Alex
idea.
Earl? I couldn't tell you.
So you know what I mean? But like those are people like she's one of the most famous influencers
Okay,
nowadays,
but
and she's
my-
getting brand deals on brand deals
Okay.
and making all this money. And she's just a girl from New Jersey
And
who
I
went to
love-
University of Miami.
And I love that. Look, listen. I believe it's talent in the sense of like, look, like, you know, in reality, in the sense of this, not a lot of people can sit in this position.
Yeah, but
Not
I mean,
everyone
but
can stand.
exactly.
Not everyone
but it's
can
like
stand with lights on them.
okay,
Not everyone can sit
but
with
I
cameras in front of their
I
face.
disagree with that
And
because
not
it's
every.
like,
No, you're. I'm gonna disagree with you and say you're wrong because people can't speak. They get to this point and they become inhibited. They don't even know how to. Even if there wasn't cameras, if it was just a stage, if it was just their peers or in an audience of a show. They don't even know how to enunciate themselves.
But that's
They-
not
they
true because
fret-
they've all gone
they
through
fret.
PR training and all this
That's
stuff
what
to
you
make them
think.
better.
That's a belief.
Are you kidding me?
That's a belief. Not everyone.
Like you don't
wields
think
that.
there's a price to pay
like-
someone to be able to do that
Yes,
in front of
yes.
camera?
Yes,
Because I
there's a
can
price to
guarantee
pay.
you, no matter how shy you are, if they're
Yes.
like, I'll pay you 50 grand.
Yes,
Sure,
there's
no
a price.
problem. I'll hop right on that.
There's a price to
Yeah.
be paid to do what we do. And you might not look at it as if it's a skill. And I know it's easy to dismiss, like, oh, well, they're just sitting in front of camera. Who doesn't? You know, when you're at home and you're sitting in front of your fucking iPhone, or you're sitting in front of your, like, you know, your webcam that you're doing yourself, like Sketch or something, like, you know what I mean, for a stream, God bless, like, love them to death. I'm not sitting out here throwing slander, or I speed, whatever, Aiden, whatever. Love you guys all. But the point being is not everyone can do it. There's a reason why it's a niche.
Okay,
it's
but
a
it's
reason
also
why
but
it's
I-
been
you know what I mean?
cultivated
But it's
as
like-
a degree.
Okay, but like, and I hate bringing this up, but it's like, okay, you're gonna look at like Kim Kardashian, right? The girl got famous off a sex tape. So it's like, so what? She was by doing that, she was preparing herself
Yeah,
for reality
but-
television.
yeah,
No,
but
she
how-
wasn't.
But how awkward were the first few seasons?
Not awkward at all. Are
They
you
were
kidding
very
me?
awkward. I'm
No.
gonna tell you, as like a person who watched it, it was very awkward to see sub-teens and individuals and families in their lives having to live it in front of camera and not feeling weird, or like seeing their emotions of indiscretion.
But it gives
and seeing, like,
people like you and I a different
Again-
ideal of society.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
what
it does.
What it does is omit them from empathy.
No,
You no longer feel empathetic to that person because they are on a screen.
that's not true.
That's really what it comes down to. No, you don't. You don't feel for a person who's on a screen. You don't. It's like no matter what, it's what we're conditioned to feel. Like people don't feel for someone who's made it to a screen. They just don't. Like they feel
I
the
disagree.
script.
See, but
They
I would
feel
disagree with that.
Like maybe to an extent. Don't get me wrong. There is
because
emotion
those some of
behind
those
it.
people, like actual like actors and people that are within the
Are
music
trash.
industry and stuff.
Like
shut
Sydney hot
up.
take. Sydney Sweeney's trash.
Are you Sydney Sweeney's trash?
Trash.
Have you even seen Euphoria?
looks good.
Have you seen Euphoria?
Yeah, she
no, you
looks
have.
good.
You've seen all of Euphoria.
She looks good though. Like she looks good on camera. Like when I hear her talk, trash. Like when I hear her express
Okay, but-
emotion,
but that's what-
trash.
okay,
Like
but-
when I see her scared, trash. When I see her in a moment, trash.
Let me get a point out.
Sydney Sweeney or Scarlett Johansson?
See,
Sydney Sweeney or Scarlett
that's
Johansson?
okay, but that's what I mean.
Sydney
Sweeney
Sweeney
and
or
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson
Johansson
are not people that are like you're trying to relate to them. They are actors. They're acting
And-
as a
and who
different
does
person
better?
within a
And
a
who
show.
does better? And who does better?
I don't know. There,
know what I mean?
it's two
Like,
different- you can't
It's the-
compare that.
That's the point. That's
You
why when you put
can't.
yourself up to criticism, people are going to compare us. People are going to look at us like what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, why isn't he more taken? Why isn't he more reserved? They're going to look at you and be like, why is she so emotional? Why do they play into each other? It's all of a take. You know what I mean? Like, it is all of the perspective in
Yeah,
the
but
sense of the screen.
but that's why it
But,
works,
like-
and that's why Hollywood will never die because everybody like it's like
Because it plays off of the,
the propaganda.
yeah.
It,
You know what I
obviously,
mean?
it plays off the propaganda. Like but you know what I mean? It's like that's how I think the entertainment industry was like started within itself.
I have no notes on this, so you're going to have to segue. You're going to have to.
Yeah,
lead
I
this,
mean,
you know
like
what
if
I
we
mean?
keep
Like,
going
take it
off
straight
from
to-
that, I mean, if we want to like continue talking about influencers and things like that, you know, my friends and I, like when we talk about viral moments and things like that, because to become an
You guys did
influencer,
have a viral moment, no?
Yeah.
Isn't it a viral moment? That's
we
for
did.
real,
Yeah,
no?
but that's what I'm saying. Like to become an influencer, I'm not saying that any of my friends are influencers by any means, but like to become one of those, you do need a viral moment that's going to take you off the ground. And a few years ago, my friends and I were just like all hanging out, and it was a little Christmas party, and we decided to post a TikTok.
When was this?
I think 2021, right?
Some midst of the.
Yeah, either 2021 or 2020. Yeah, it was 2021. And we were all just hanging out, and we posted a TikTok, and you know, we were all jokingly saying, "What if this goes viral?" And then all of a sudden, it did. Like we got over.
Who posted it?
Our friend Vita, but we got 2 million likes, over 10 million views. Like Young Gravy was commenting on it. Like we had a bunch of people commenting on it. And like it got to the point where like our friend Vita from that video literally gained like almost what? Was it like 13,000 followers? Yeah, she made money from it.
Did she gain any affluence off of it?
She gained money. Yeah, she got money from it. Apparently our friend Vita made $700 off
Just
that
that's
post.
it?
It was
I feel
one-
like what,
it was
like how
one
many
post.
views? You said you had 10 million views.
It was one
though.
post though, Brandon. It's not like she has like
I hear
zillions of
you on that,
followers
but
that
like,
are
so,
she's
like,
getting brand deals and stuff like that.
Did
It's
she
not
get
like that.
how many followers did she? I'm interested.
I
to
told
know.
you she
I
gained
don't
like
know.
13,000 followers from it.
She gained 13,000 followers. From
Yeah.
it, from that one post.
Yeah.
And you guys did what? Like you guys made some drinks, like
Yeah,
you
we
know,
were
you
just
shaped it
making
up.
drinks and just like looking cute.
They
That's
look
how we got
trash.
viral.
Drinks look trash. Girls look cute. I mean, so like we hear that works. But
That's
like
not.
13,000.
But I mean,
views,
it's all
$700,
about
that's
the
what we
look.
got.
It's like how it's like you know what,
What
I mean.
look did you guys have? You were all wearing jumpsuits. You guys were all wearing fucking like onesies. Like
I
what
don't know.
look did
It's
you
just
have
it's
other
like
than
when when it comes
like
to a
a
viral
onesie and a
moment
face.
when it comes to a viral moment and you think about things within Hollywood and things that are talked about within the media, they have to have a draw factor.
So what do you think that made your guys the draw? Like, right? Like, you had a viral moment. That's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here trying to discredit because obviously that's what people are looking for. Like, they're actually literally chasing the viral moment. So you created one. You created a viral moment with your friends, and that in itself is, you know, an obscurity. So what do you think brought you guys to that moment where you felt like, yo, we were able to create that viral moment in this time, right? Like, what was it?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was just like with the time that it was, like we chose a sound that was trending on TikTok at the time.
Okay.
We
fair.
had seen, I think maybe 1 or 2 videos of these like people like coming up with the different drinks and like doing like a little thing.
So you
we
choreographed it in a sense.
yeah,
like,
but
right?
when
Like-
we had filmed that video that night, I literally remember this, and I know that Aver will agree with me when I say this. But when we had filmed this video that night, we were like, "Oh, like what if we go viral? Blah blah blah. Like maybe we might go viral." And then literally, like Vita had posted the TikTok, and we're sitting there like, "Oh my god! Like we're actually getting a lot of likes. Like we actually are going viral. Like that's insane."
So it was choreographed.
It wasn't choreographed.
So
it was
to an
just
extent, though, it was though. Like
I
to
mean,
an
it was
extent, though,
choreographed into
like
the-
there was amount of. It looks like we have a question in the crowd, but to finishing my point though, to an extent though, it looks like you guys put in the energy to make it that. You know what I mean? It wasn't just.
But I think that that's
it
what a
wasn't
lot. It's
just
like going off of what your friend Abby had said it originally. It's like to become an influencer, you need things like that. You need to follow the algorithm. You need to follow the things that are going to make you viral, or else you're not going to become. You're not going to do it.
With that question being.
Like, do you think there was a correlation to you being viral due to the fact that you and your group of friends are like a pretty group of girls?
No.
Attraction. So
No,
you're saying,
you
so
don't
the-
think
the
it had
question-
anything to do with that.
So you
I know.
think so what we're hearing is that you guys went viral due to your level of attraction. You don't think it's due to your
see,
level
like
of attraction.
to answer that question, I would disagree with that because I don't think that it has anything to do with our level of attraction. I think that it literally just has to do with the fact that like it worked for the time it worked.
Okay. So it was like right there you guys were in the moment. You like it worked for you. You guys created it and it came viral.
Yeah.
All right, with the next question being
Avery, next question. You had a question?
Just to play on that as like someone that was in the video and to kind of answer the question, it was an ugly Christmas like sweater party. Like it,
so there was nothing
yes, it was.
attractive about it. So there was nothing attractive about
Okay,
it.
Yeah.
like okay, so there's like other commentary of people that weren't there giving their 2 cents. But as I will say, I just think we hit it at a time that trend of doing like a viral thing like that, like doing fun drinks for Christmas, was something that was coming up on a lot of For You pages. So we like just happened to hit that trend at the right time so that we went viral. It's like a lot of people that go randomly viral because they do a trend that's up and coming. And we just happened to be one of the trends that did it.
My question
It's like we
my-
followed a
all right.
trend. Thank you,
Exactly.
Abe.
Yeah,
We
okay.
followed a trend.
You followed a trend. So do you think you guys could have like bounced off that? Do you feel
No,
like as
because
if like
I
you
don't.
could have
I don't
like
think.
taken,
I don't think
taken
that. I don't think with the video that went viral. I don't think that it like produced anything that would lead to a road to fame.
Okay. Like one person couldn't have gotten famous from that.
No, because it was just all of us just being a bunch of like 21-year-olds just like drinking and hanging out as friends.
Predominantly through what like this time was what?
2021.
So like it was right in the midst of, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right
It was
in the
right
midst
in the
of, like,
midst of
yeah.
the thou that should not be named, right?
Of thou
Like,
that the
yeah,
the
yeah.
pandem.
Yeah, the pandem.
Yeah, the pandem.
The thing that should not be named.
But I mean,
Okay.
it all goes behind it. I mean, I think that there's propaganda and conspiracies behind all of it. It's like there's a reason why certain people go viral. And
It's
there's-
like sit down and drink at home. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like you guys went
exactly.
viral because it was a great way to promote
But I mean,
people to
it's-
be
it's
like
the whole
stay
thing.
in
It's-
place,
I mean, and
drink with
this-
your friends,
Yeah.
don't do anything more, and like have a good time. Like great, boom,
But I
get
mean,
paid.
this
go from
kind
there.
of ties into like, you know, when we were talking about like Taylor Swift and like things like that. It's like I feel like obviously, you know, Taylor Swift has been a huge thing for years and years and years. I grew up with her, but she really started to like.
How do you feel about Taylor Swift?
I mean, I like her.
You like her? You listen to her music?
I listen to her music, but like, would I spend thousands of dollars to go to the Eras tour? No.
Never. There would never be a day in my life that I would.
No,
ever
but it's
go
like
and see her.
it ties into it because it's like when you think about it, it's like I feel like once Taylor Swift actually like made her like mark, like obviously she had made her mark, but I think that once she, you know, came out with all this stuff with her tour and like
Yeah.
she was doing all this other
Yeah.
publicity stuff,
Okay.
her fans started to become more as one.
So
it started
what's with-
becoming more
so what's with
prevalent.
the
and
hate?
What do you mean?
Like I feel like
Well,
obscurely,
a lot of the hate that
obscurely
comes to
more than
Taylor
it's like
Swift-
what has she done to hate her? Like I feel like
Okay,
people
this is the
hate
thing that-
her
yeah.
for an obscure reason. Like they
'Cause
have no
people think,
validated. Like what
a
has
lot
she
of-
done though?
A
Like,
lot of people
you know what I
believe
mean?
that
has
she
made people,
takes
like,
that she like dates all of these people within her life and then takes them and uses them as
how is that
bait
negative?
and uses them as bait for her content for her
so you're
like
so
fame.
you're so it sounds more of like a twist.
What do you
She
mean?
dates people who use her for her social status, and then she makes music about it. And because she finds a way to express herself, she's hated upon it because she used those people as a platform to express herself. Even though she doesn't like use their names or isn't derogatory or any of
No,
those
but
sense, or,
with-
like,
but with a lot-
but
I mean,
regardless, people are
okay.
just able to like align her dating life with her album releases where they're like, you know, Taylor, you know what I mean? Like, is that necessarily fair? Like, she's not out there going and like berating anyone. She's not defaming anyone. She's not going out of her way to shut down any type of programming. You don't hear a derogatory statement out of this woman's mouth. So like, what is with
Okay,
the
but
hate?
that's not-
The hate to
yeah,
me
you might
is
not see a
weird,
direct-
though.
okay,
The hate
but-
hate to me is weird.
And I understand that to
Like,
a
the
certain
hate to
regard,
me is
but
weird.
then, you know,
It
like you
is.
have to think about every single person sees the media every single day. So it's like when people, you know, like when she started dating Travis Kelce, like that was a whole other thing because all these
'Cause of the
men
NFL.
that watched, you know, the NFL, they had something to say about it because she was getting screen time like while the game was going on, and people had a lot to say
But
about
when
that.
it was a Hemsworth, like who cares? Like, you know, I mean, like when it was a Marvel.
Well, I mean, I
comic,
think it has a
like-
lot to
like,
say. I think it's a difference
like-
between men and
like,
women. You
who
know,
cares?
obviously,
Like,
I don't think that a lot of people
when
would
it's
have
a
a
football
lot.
player and an athlete.
Are
who
you gonna let
pertains
me
to
finish my point?
ESPN
I don't-
show,
Brandon.
like, why do I have to see Taylor Swift for 2 minutes? You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
but that's what I'm saying is that I think that it has a lot to do with the fact, like, with the difference in gender. I think that because it was a woman, I think that it had a lot more to do with it. I think people
that
are
doesn't
upset
make
about
sense
it.
to me because the reason why that doesn't make sense to me is because football is a predominantly black sport. Whatever, race not, but right? It's predominantly a black sport. And Ciara was dating Russell Wilson. Ciara is a prominent singer in the pop culture, right? At that time, you know what I mean? Everyone could sing a Ciara song if they thought about it, right? If they really sat down and thought about it. And why is it such an obscure thing? Like Ciara dated Russell Wilson.
Okay, and
Okay, exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
But that's what I'm
So
saying.
so Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, who within our whole argument is the same social class, the same exact like person as her.
But
you know what I
that's
mean?
but
The
that
same
but,
but then
but
it's
that's
now-
what I mean. They
it's
said
now
that's
this
the issue with
huge
Hollywood.
issue.
Everyone has
It's
the
this
same
huge
social
issue
class.
with like, why is Taylor Swift in NFL? Like, bitch, no one gave a fuck when it was Future and Ciara. You know what I mean? No one gave a shit when Future was bumping through Atlanta fucking speakers. You know what I mean? To to disrupt Russell Wilson at a stadium. They're like, haha. You know what I mean? It was haha.
I don't know.
It was
I mean,
literally
but I
Taylor
also think
Swift dates a football player for 1 year, and everyone's in arms about it.
Okay. But you have to think about it. You have to think about it like this. How many other controversies has Taylor Swift like been in?
A lot.
Exactly.
But
do we not remember the Kanye moment? Exactly.
Yeah.
Kanye. Thank you.
Yeah.
Literally,
But
literally,
to me,
Kanye.
Even as a child, when I saw the Kanye moment on VH1, it was a platform. There was no way that I saw that and I didn't think that Kanye is trying to lift up Taylor Swift.
What do you mean?
There's no way that I witnessed that and somebody like Kanye West is sitting down talking about like so-and-so had the best music video on VH1. Who? Yo, listen.
But that's his identity.
Pause. Sorry to VH1. I love you guys. You guys were amazing. You guys treated me well. Like, it was a great experience. Like, it was honestly one of the best. But who gives a fuck about the VH1 Video Music Awards? Not a single actual person in the world.
It was the MTV Music Awards. Am I wrong? Was it?
Okay,
Yeah,
it
it was MTV. Thank you.
I'm sorry, MTV.
Also, I was just gonna say, can you argue that she wouldn't be as big now if that didn't happen to her?
Absolutely, she would have been.
100%. I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I think she would have been. I think regardless, people would have jumped on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
And they would have, absolutely. Regardless, people would have jumped on that bandwagon. She was already semi-famous. For someone like Kanye to even acknowledge her at an MTV Music Award, apologize for the discretion. You know what I mean? It wasn't VH1. You know what I mean? Regardless of the fact.
But that's like saying
her.
none of the One Direction, when they split up, is famous now. They're all famous because of One Direction.
Yeah, to an extent.
Preach it. Preach it, Amber.
To an extent.
All of them.
You know, yes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But like, this also ties into another like thing that we were talking about within our notes is that it's like there's different industries that make up pop culture. So it's like obviously Kanye West is a name that's going to dominate, and Taylor Swift are both two names that are going to dominate
pop
the
culture.
music industry.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
You say Kanye West, you say Taylor Swift, it's up.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
it.
It's like you can say the same thing for like actresses. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, somebody like Anne Hathaway or Meryl Streep. Those are two women that have
No one gives a fuck about them.
What the hell are you talking about? Nobody gives a fuck about Meryl Streep. I will violate you.
Okay.
Meryl Streep is one of the best actresses
No one gives a
to
fuck
ever
about Meryl
exist
Streep.
in this day and age.
No one gives a fuck about Meryl Streep. No one gives a fuck about Anne Hathaway. I love y'all. Y'all went to Vassar. God bless. Like, bless out to Poughkeepsie and the people that like gave me my life. But no one cares about y'all. Like, at the end of the day,
not fair,
it's only
Brandon.
what's
That's not
more
fair.
relevant.
So what? Why
Like,
they don't matter because what?
They don't.
They're women?
No. They don't matter because they're not relevant and they don't keep
What do you
up
mean
with their
they're not
relevance.
relevant? Meryl Streep
Because
is one
in
of the most famous actresses in our day and
today,
age.
Maybe, but in this world, you need to stay up to date, like on the minute.
But
if
what
you're
is
not
that?
up to
Okay,
date
but
on the minute,
okay.
you're old news. If you're not up to date on the hour, you're old news. If you're not up to date on the year, you're old news.
But I think that with a lot of
You're
the
not- you're
celebrities
old
that
news.
have been coming up in the media within the most recent years, their name has stayed in the media. They're
To
not
an
going
extent.
down. What do you
For
mean?
what though? For what though? We're talking about Taylor because of what? We're talking about Leo because of what? These aren't prominent.
Well,
or
they're all
positive-
controversies and it's all propaganda.
This
Exactly.
Isn't positive. This isn't positive affluence. We're talking about them for the wrong fucking reasons. But the point being is that we're talking about them. You're right.
Yeah, we're talking
You're
about them,
right
but I
in the
don't
sense
know
is
if
the
we're
point
talking
being
about
that
them for
we're
the
like-
wrong reasons because
we're
it's
like-
like they're still making an impact
it's the
within our
wrong
society.
impact. How?
And are you
Leo's
kidding me?
promoting young men to date young.
And Taylor Swift is promoting
you know,
girls to
like,
be bad bitches.
Yes. And what is Taylor promoting us? Taylor's promoting us to dump your man if she treats you any way other than the way you feel.
Yes, as you
so
should.
like I either way,
You don't think Taylor made younger girls watch more football?
I think Taylor.
I don't know about that.
Before, okay, yeah, no. Look. Like today, yes. Today, yes. When I think about the family dynamic, when I think about what she actually pertains to a home and a household, like with sitting down and being able to watch the game with my wife and my daughter and being wholesome, yes. You know what I mean? Like, look, Taylor dates a football player. Like, cool. You know what I mean? Like, great. When I think about what she promoted her whole career up to, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, girl, move on. You know what I mean? If there's something better out there, take it. You know what I mean? Like, If there's more out there, go for it. You know what I mean? Strive for it. Which more power to you, but it also goes against the thought of the individual who believes that you should fight for something that's more and greater. You know what I mean? It goes against what we were kind of talking about before. And it doesn't really lay pertinence to what like the message is. Like,
yeah, but
no,
but
it
this
is all
but
propaganda.
there's an underlying script within all of it. There's an underlying script within everything that is like put out into the media. There's always something underneath it that like how they want it to be perceived.
Of course.
Exactly. It's like this podcast right now that we're doing. There's obviously a certain way that you and I want to be perceived, but you know what I mean? Like, people are going to go and do whatever the hell they want.
And that's why I love what we're doing, because, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Everybody also has a publicist in Hollywood. So one publicist
PR
calls another
relations.
saying, hey, we're going to launch this relationship campaign, and famous athletes get famous celebrities access. The publicist will make it work. Hey, show up at this time at this dinner. Let's
this
make these
date.
photos happen. Let's see how the rest of America reacts.
Well, yeah, it's
then
like-
this relationship will last or it
Well,
won't.
it's like even the fact that celebrities call paparazzi to like come and but like what?
And
are
a
you
lot of
doing?
people that neglect that. You know what I mean? A lot of people neglect that aspect of like the celebrity.
Yeah.
They don't acknowledge what it takes to actually upkeep that.
Yeah.
And they want to just dismiss it or feel like, oh, well, they're on TV because they're this. Like the Wanda Sykes thing. It's like people at work try
We're
to tell
shouting
us
out
that-
Wanda Sykes.
Yo, big shout out to Wanda Sykes.
Big
you know
shout
what
out to
I mean?
Wanda Sykes.
Like,
She came to our hometown this past week, and we had her at our restaurant that we work at. I had her as I was her waitress, and it was a grand old time. But you know what I mean? It's like I look at somebody like her, where it's like, yeah, she is a very famous
someone
celebrity.
try to tell me that she's not A-list.
Yo, no.
Someone try to
Wanda
tell me
Sykes
Wanda
is
Sykes
A-list.
is in A-list.
Yeah.
bruh.
No, Wanda
see,
Sykes is an A-list, and
No,
it's just
that's-
because she's.
no.
Yes, she is. She's
How
been
many
around for
Netflix specials does she have?
She's been around for
too
years.
Too many.
She's
Too
on Curb Your
many,
Enthusiasm,
bruh.
one of the best shows to ever be created.
When you think about top
How
10
many
female-
generations know her by name, though?
And that's the fact, 3. And that's prevalence. That's A-list.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. When a grandmother, a mother, and a granddaughter can tell you who Wanda Sykes is, that's prevalence. You know what I mean? You're A-list. You're A-list when you say that 3 generations can tell you who I am. You know what I mean? Whether you're on TV or not, though, like
I hate to be this guy, but I really feel like that's demographical. Because,
regardless,
like,
I mean, maybe.
Thank
but
you.
then, like,
you
Thank
know
you.
who John Witherspoon is, right? Everyone
What?
knows Pops, right?
What?
John Witherspoon.
No, I don't know who John was.
Pops.
I wish.
I don't
wish
know
I
who
knew
John Witherspoon is either.
He actually just crushed my demographic theory because the light-skinned guy didn't know who Pops was, but the white kid in the front did, which is great.
Hey, Brennan.
I appreciate that.
So someone has to tell me who
that's what I'm
John
gonna
Witherspoon is.
kinda
Who's
get at
John
too,
Witherspoon?
Like John Witherspoon, yeah, A-list in the hood for sure, but like maybe not. Like
Who's John Witherspoon?
Pops? The Boondocks.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly who he is. You know what
even
I
our
mean?
producer's like, damn, like,
that's
y'all don't
mad
know who that is?
disrespectful to compare that to Wanda Sykes, though.
How?
Like, I
No
feel like
way.
that's kind of borderline
I feel
disrespectful.
like without
to
John
compare that
Witherspoon,
to
there would be
Wanda.
no
Wanda
Wanda.
Sykes, bro.
There would be
Wanda
no
Sykes
Wanda
is
without
from
John.
1991 to 2023.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
John
like,
Witherspoon had a stand-up comedic career during the time of like Richard Pryor and George
Yeah,
Carlin.
yeah,
Like
Richard,
he was a comedian before Wanda Sykes. in
Okay,
fact.
I feel you on that, but like it's Wanda Sykes over like that guy any damn week. You know what I mean? If they could have had
I don't know,
Wanda
but
Sykes
but that's
voice
what
on-
I'm saying. It's like somebody said to you, like, she's not an A-list celebrity, where it's like, but I think that just has to go with everybody's opinion. Like, not everybody is going to think as a certain celebrity as A-list. But if they do, then that's, you know what I mean? That's their opinion. You're making messes over here. But do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I do get you. Where are we at?
I mean, like, we talked about Wanda Sykes and we talked about, the cult of Taylor Swift. I hate to describe it as that, but it is one.
It is a cult of Taylor Swift. I do believe it.
But I think that a lot of, fan bases in this day and age are cults. I was a part of one. Hello, One Direction, Harry Styles. I was a part of it. All of it.
That's a fallacy.
I have a question for you guys. I know we're talking about Taylor Swift, but we could say the same thing about Drake.
Yay.
right? Like the controversy, but Taylor has a cleaner image and reputation.
Like Drake's nudes literally
Drake's
getting released,
20v1.
and like people are still like,
I would like to get more into conspiracy.
What do you mean?
Like, how much of conspiracy do you actually consider?
Believe?
Yeah,
When it comes to
consider.
social media, a lot probably.
Do you
Because
think
I
you
think
actually
that a
take
lot
it
of
in? Do
it's
you
like
think
it's
you
the whole
digest
thing.
it?
It's like this is how I think of conspiracy. When you look at it, it's like I don't know. It's like sometimes I view it as clickbait. It's like
So conspiracy to you is just clickbait.
sometimes
I want to hear that. I like wholeheartedly. So
because
to you,
I
it
think
has
that
no
a lot of
pertinence.
people will
It's just
create. I think
clickbait.
that a lot of people will create conspiracies within Hollywood and within
No,
like
outside
the-
of Hollywood and everything else. Like if we were to get on a spiritual and a higher realm, like we'll cut this off on here because we're not here to like get everyone to like do the thing that is open in their minds. God forbid that they have to think outside the box, but to think that like the world is as big as it really is. We're lied to about every aspect of what we see
yeah,
and
but
perceive.
that's just how the
you know
world
what I mean?
has been created.
It's like it's the way that we perceive Europe, right? The way we perceive Europe is like super fucking official in the sense of like Europe is this grandiose fucking continent. We call it a continent. It's the size of a state. We call it
Okay,
a
but,
continent.
like,
No,
Europe-
no. And this is coming.
What?
This is coming from mind you guys like.
What?
This is coming like mind you. I'm uncultured. I'm uncultured swine. I'm uncultured swine, right? So this is coming from people who come from Europe, right? This is people like my sense is coming from people who come from that region of the world. It takes them 45 minutes to get from England to Germany. It takes them 30 minutes to get from Italy to France.
Yeah.
It takes us 2 hours from upstate to get to downstate New York City.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
a fact. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Those are wholehearted fact where Americans don't take into consideration how big the country actually is. Europe is nothing.
Nah.
It is nothing in the size in comparison to the rest of the world. It is literally
Okay, but like,
an
but that
armpit.
makes you seem like
And
it's
an
like,
armpit
yeah,
regardless.
United States, USA. Like,
No,
let's trump
false.
that overall.
False.
No, that's not
False.
true.
False. I am just acknowledging what is true. I'm just acknowledging what is fact. Less than 90% of the world is developed. That is a fact. Look me up. Look me up. I don't need to fact check this. I don't need to fucking give you a stat, right? Less than 90% of the world is developed. Less than 90%
Yeah.
of the world is developed.
I
Has
believe you. I'm not disagreeing
has
with you on that.
concrete, has blacktop, has fucking brick and mortar. Right? Less than 90% of the world. The world is for sale. Your mind is for sale. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if we want to talk propaganda in Hollywood,
Yeah, but
your
it's
mind
like
is for
it
sale.
goes into everything,
So-
and goes into a lot of the things that we've talked about this season, where like social media and stuff like that. Everybody hears you. Everything is connected. It's all as one.
So what am
It's-
I sitting here talking about? You know what I mean? Like when majority of the world isn't even developed. You want to get to the ending. You want to get to the close. I hear it. Like I'm with you. You know what I mean? Let's cut it off. Let's get some drinks. Let's have a good time. But point being is that we're at a stage, right, where there is the grand awakening.
Yeah.
More people are starting to acknowledge that the fact that Hollywood is blasphemy.
Well, I
right?
think that's a lot of more people are becoming known to that fact.
Propaganda is commercial.
Yeah.
We see it in
100%.
our television every day.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's media, right? We see it all the time. But the point being is, how big is the world really? Like, when are you going to start thinking outside of the box and start thinking outside of your realm, your domain? All right, we live in America. Cool.
I don't know. I mean, I think that when you say it like that, it's like, obviously, it's like, look at you and I, okay? You and I are obviously going to view the world in a completely different lens because that's just who we are as people.
Fair.
So it's like, you have to understand that, like, even when it comes to propaganda and conspiracy theories, everybody's going to have their own differing opinion on it because that's how they view it. You know what I mean?
Fuck the opinions. What
it
is
doesn't
fact?
matter.
What's
But it doesn't matter. It's not, fact or false. It's like whether it's how you view it as a person. And that's how we've become one as society.
Yeah, well, I don't want look, I don't want to become one with people who are unable to acknowledge that.
But
And
that's your choice.
Yeah, okay. Well, so be it. And that comes down to me having a strict guideline of individuals that I want to fucking be involved with. I don't want to be involved with anyone who only sees the Hollywood. I don't want to be involved with anyone who only sees what's in front of them on Vanderpump.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
but
Or
that's
Taylor
the beauty.
Swift,
But that's the beauty of pop culture
it's like-
is that those are things that everybody can see at the same time,
choose
but
to
everybody
neglect.
has their own opinion on it.
So at
and
what
that's
point-
and
what-
that's
what
a good thing to.
Yeah, we can close it on that. But at what point do people just choose to neglect the things that are going on around them?
I don't think that that's even I don't because I don't.
Every day.
I'm
every
aware.
day.
I'm aware of everything going on every day.
Every
Are
day.
you?
Every day. Yes, I am. Absolutely. And I do believe that it is a wholehearted, regardless if this is the Peter Parker fucking talking about my uncle statement, with great responsibility comes great, with great power becomes great responsibility. Simple as that. If you have the responsibility, if you have the intellect, if you know of, it is your job to you don't need to go out there and tell someone they're wrong. You don't need to sit there and say, listen, you're wrong at your job. You're doing it wrong. I've seen someone do it better. But if you're intelligent enough to acknowledge it, if you're intelligent enough to receive it and see that this individual is doing something in the wrong way, the wrong manner, or in an extent that does not pertain to better, right? At what point are you obligated to say something? If you don't say something, you are just as negligent as any of the other individuals. I don't care how intelligent you are.
No,
I don't
because
care what you score
Brandon,
on
but this
your,
is but
your
this is what I mean,
your
and this is
SAT.
what I mean, because you and I could
You're
go
not.
on and on
Yeah,
about
we
this
could.
for hours. When it comes to
could.
pop culture, everybody is going to have their own opinion on it because it's how they see it in their eyes, and that's how
They're
they want to
weak.
see it, and
They're weak.
that's how it was designed to
They're
be. It's not
unable to
there's not supposed to be thought behind it, whether or not there's conspiracies or propaganda behind it. Pop culture was designed for no thought to be behind it. Sorry, that's how I see it.
It's Rockefeller. You know what I mean? They will do what we say they do. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Yeah, we want workers. We don't want thinkers.
Exactly. Everybody
It's
wants
like-
thinkers,
it's
and that's
like-
how everybody should go
Now
off.
we want thinkers. Today we would love thinkers, but people don't know how to think without the group chat.
That's not true, but whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And if you think that everything in this life is just a symbiote of one another, then
It is though. That's
It's
what
not.
we've grown to. It's what
not.
people know.
It's not. And
It's what people know.
but that's the beauty of this podcast is that it shows that
I'm
there's two
learning.
completely differing sides to everything. There
are.
is. You know what I mean? And I'm super grateful that I'm able to have these conversations with you because I don't think that a lot of these conversations between people like you and I are actually broadcasted and put out into the world.
They're not anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I
so-
mean? People don't reach over the aisle. They don't care to take in the discretion of a younger. And that makes, to the point, we close on that. You know what I mean? I sent that to you after our last show last week or whatever. You know what I mean? Where it's I think it was KRS-One or whomever, stated that when the old stop taking into consideration of the young, they become slow amongst the old.
Yeah.
And when the young stop taking into consideration of the old, they become slow amongst the young. The moment that you stop considering those who are more developed than you, who live a life that have been more elongated than you, you become slower in life. So I do think that is something that they've tried to press on us. You know what I mean? They try to live us in the sense of be around the people who enable you, who make you feel better, and I think it does go into the pertinence of what we're talking about in the sense of trying to open up that discussion and sit down and talk about the things and the differences of our demographic. So, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
How do
I
you feel
agree.
about this?
I feel great.
And
I'm
so
super happy that we got to do this
so
with each
far
other.
so go.
Yeah.
You know.
And hopefully we come back for part two.
The plan is interviews, some field
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
you know
we-
what I mean?
we
What,
really-
tell the guests, tell the people who have stuck with us for 8 episodes, which is not, you know what I mean, which is long, but not that long. Individuals who may have stayed with us this long, tell them some of the things that they may be looking forward to in the future.
You know,
what I mean?
for this, you know, if we move forward with this, you can look forward to hopefully.
Oh man. That hurt.
When you can look forward to some, you know, field work and some interviews with people that actually have legitimate, you know, knowledge behind a lot of the
More than
topics that
us.
we're talking about. Brendan and I are obviously just, you know, here giving our 2 opinions, but we thought that it would be a great idea to, you know, actually have people that have knowledge behind the topics that we're discussing. So yeah, I mean, that's something hopefully you guys can look forward to in the near future. And we're just super grateful for people, you know, tuning in and listening to us and giving us a space to share our thoughts.
And so far, like and subscribe. I'll be the one about business. You know what I mean? Hit that click. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hit that
We're
click.
with it and ready to go.
And-
Thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah, and thank you
that's
to our
it.
friends and family for tuning in, and we love you guys, and thank you.
Yeah,
and,
ready to
and
go.
that's the wrap of season 1.
That's about season 1.
Yeah.